Welcome back to the Dynasty Arsenal podcast. This is episode 8. I am Sammy Stacks, joined, as always, by my good friend and co-host, Tags. Tags, we had a nice weekend of some NFL games. How did it go for you?
It may have been nice for you, but as someone who played against Flacco, Rodgers, Stafford, Nix, Herbert,
Oh my God.
pretty much was against one or two of those in every single league I had. It was not quite as fun of a week for me. But how'd your week go?
The Unks really performed this past week. Those old quarterbacks. Stafford, what did Stafford throw? 5 touchdowns or something?
They got a fresh shipment of Ben Gay and some Icy Hots in, and they're ready to go.
There you go. Yeah, that Thursday night game was insane. Rodgers with the longest air yard pass since 2017. Flacco balling out. Who would have thought that throwing it to Jamar Chase 23 times would work?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for him.
Why haven't we thought of this before? We said, I know we talked about the Flacco thing briefly, and it looked fine against the Packers, a little better than Browning had looked. But I did not expect it to be this good. The Steelers, obviously, their defense is not what it has been.
Man, their defense,
in the past.
Their defense has been getting torched all year. What is happening?
It was weird because it was like Chase was just running slants over and over again. Flacco hardly even knows the playbook. And then there was that, I don't know, there was like 3 plays at the end of the first half where Chase just ran like a 12-yard out, 3 plays in a row. Threw it to him every time. He caught it every time. And it's like the DB's just playing off coverage.
If it works, don't fix it, you know?
They're just trying to avoid, they're just trying to prevent the big play, right? Playing off, and absolutely killed them. 23 targets, just an insane performance. Thanks to Joe Flacco. Yeah.
Screw you, Joe Flacco. As someone who didn't start him anywhere.
Yeah, unbelievable. On today's episode, we're going to take a look at the teams at the bottom of the league standings, the teams that are struggling a lot. Maybe there is a potential coach firing coming. Maybe there's a quarterback benching that I will cry about.
Maybe a coach that's already been fired. Teaser.
Maybe a coach that's already been fired. And we're sort of going to talk about these teams that should expect a lot of change. And we're going to talk about the assets on those teams, the primary assets for Dynasty Fantasy Football, and sort of their outlook and how this change, whether it be at quarterback, at coach, how this change will affect those assets. Should be a good time. I can give a little Flock League update. I did lose this week, unfortunately. My team was set up really well. I was coming up against a team that had a ton of injuries. He has the Lamar, Zay Flowers stack. They were obviously on bye. But he did have Marv and Egbuka, who were both supposed to miss, end up playing. Neither of them did much. But I had George Kittle, Mike Evans. Both put up goose eggs.
Gooses.
Evans is gone. And I started Justin Fields. So, yeah, that's how my week went.
You had a flock of goose eggs in the Flock League. Yeah.
Justin Fields has really hurt me, and he's the first guy that we'll talk about here.
Yeah, is that a transition into the segment?
Yes, I am a pro.
Professionals.
Exactly. We're New York Jets, the only team in the league without a win. And starting with Fields, I mean, he obviously signs the 2-year, $40 million contract, and it's just bad. Reports are that Tyrod is likely to be named the starter. I don't know if that makes them any better.
He came in through 2 interceptions, and Jets were like, we want that guy. If anything, that just says even more about how they feel about Fields.
Woody Johnson is just dragging Justin Fields in the media. Honestly, I could see a situation here. So the Jets, they actually say they would save money by cutting Fields in the offseason. It feels impossible that he would be on this team beyond this season. But also, I think we could see a Daniel Jones of 2024 type of thing where he gets moved during the season, potentially. I don't know if the league regards him as highly as Daniel Jones is regarded. Like Kevin O'Connell was like, you know what, this is a guy that we value bringing on to the roster in Daniel Jones last year. I don't know if that would be the same for Fields, but I do think that he could hang around in the league as a starter for a bad team every year, or as a bridge quarterback if a team is, you know, in between situations, or they just drafted a rookie, that kind of thing.
You know what he needs to do? He needs to go to the 49ers and go to the Kyle Shanahan school for quarterbacks who don't do well. And
Mac Jones,
be
Sam
in that
Darnold,
system for a year, learn how to play quarterback again, and then go find, hopefully you'll get a opportunity to start, show yourself, ball out in the preseason, go find a team that sees that growth and will fit a system around you, like a Sam Darnold, like a Mac Jones resurgence right now. As a Patriots fan my whole life, I've never seen Mac Jones do the things he's doing with the 49ers. So
yeah, it really shows that those systems are.
That's my only hope for Fields, is that he takes that route and either goes to Shanahan or goes and sits behind JJ McCarthy at the Vikings. Just like be a backup guy, learn how to play quarterback again. Hope to have, ironically, a Tyrod Taylor kind of career where you have a resurgence in your late 20s and prove to be a valuable backup quarterback somewhere. But at this point, I mean, Woody's remarks were scathing against him. The comment of like, you know, if we could complete a pass, we'd look much better.
But he's like defending Aaron Glenn by trashing Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Like he's saying like throw any coach with a quarterback like that and then see what the results would be. Like,
that tells me that Glenn has wanted to move off of Fields, and him, if they make Tyrod the starter, which all accounts seem to be that's going to be the case, it seems like Glenn never wanted Fields there, and Woody making those remarks is backing their coach, which makes the most sense for that organization. Their coach is their long-term option. They invested really heavily in him this offseason. You want to back the coach in that situation. And I think, I mean, Fields is kind of toast for the time being. If you've got him on teams, I'm just holding him. It's not worth it to sell him right now.
You can't. There's no.
You're
point.
either bag holding or you wait for that chance he hopefully gets another starting gig due to injuries situation. Try to sell him then, but you're kind of just bag holding right now.
Yeah, and I think that the comments from the owner and I think that leads more into the idea that he could get moved mid-season, because clearly, if I'm Fields, I don't want to be the backup on the Jets. I would rather be the backup literally anywhere else. They don't want him. They don't want to start him, obviously. And what if you know what I would love? I would love for Justin Fields to get traded to the Rams. Fields and a 7th to the Rams for a 6th round pick, and backup Stafford in that McVay offense. Yeah. And Stafford could be retiring after the year, something like that. Maybe he gets an opportunity there, something like that. That could be fun. But enough talking about a backup quarterback.
I think Indy would also be a great situation. They have Riley Leonard there as their backup to Daniel Jones, since Richardson broke his face with a exercise band.
Crazy,
stuff. Shit happens.
That'd be interesting too. But I do think,
because I think a coach like that, McVay, Steichen, Shanahan, that's the kind of coach that needs to work with Fields and try to fix him. And I think Fields is an upgrade over Riley Leonard, and Colts are number 1 in the league right now. So I think they'd be a good spot too for him. So I'm curious if a deal gets done, but I don't think any team wants to take on that contract. So Colts are going to have to eat a lot of money on that if they ship him off.
Yeah, and they're not paying Daniel Jones that much, so maybe they're able to do that. But it doesn't seem like maybe that's the type of move that doesn't happen. We'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, like you said, right now you're just holding. Moving over to Breece Hall. So Breece Hall is a full UFA after this season. He's been very up and down. I still think that he is a good play in good matchups. He's also been rumored in trades. And the fact that he's a UFA after this year, the fact that he could get traded, he has been rumored in trades. He's the perfect candidate to get traded, right? Going into free agency on his rookie deal. I really like him as a buy right now for reload or punting teams. Because to me, it just feels like whether he gets traded or he stays on the Jets, come 2026, his value will be higher than it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, what
The shine of free agency will push him up to, like, regardless of where he goes, honestly.
what situation could he go to that would be worse than the one he's currently in?
I
Like, only thing
I
I
don't
could think
think,
of is if
honestly.
he goes to like a Raiders and he kills both Genty and his value. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But like, why would but then you're like, okay, yeah, why would the Raiders spend a lot of money in free agency on a running back
Yeah.
when they just spent a top 10 pick on one?
but then
It's like,
imagine he goes to the Chiefs. I know we say this every year. We said this with Jonathan Taylor a few years ago. Like, oh, what if he like hits free agency, goes to the Chiefs? Can the Chiefs just get a running back, please? Like,
yeah. Could the Chargers
Yeah.
trade for him with Hampton potentially not being back until late in the season?
yeah, I think Hall's a good hold. He's obviously a stud talent. I think him hitting free agency is going to be good for him because let him get all the suitors he can and then pick the best spot for him to go to. And I think
he's a talented
his
running
value
back.
can
Like,
only go up compared to the situation he's in.
yeah. He's very, very talented. He has he has a top 5 season under his belt. We know that he has the pass catching upside. And like you said, there isn't a situation that he could go to via trade or free agency that isn't better than this one. I remember this is a little different, but the Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry free agency year, where people were kind of down on those moves, those sort of things just kind of work out. You know what I mean? When a player has shown that they are talented and they move to a situation where there is plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, Barkley's done pretty good.
How did I don't know how I forgot
The biggest
Saquon
one who
moving
moved in that year.
as well. That's funny. That's really funny. But yeah, I think that, I think Brees could have quite the resurgence here, and I like buying him at his current price.
I agree. I've held firm on Brees this whole time, and this year was positive because last year he looked slow. He didn't look good.
Yeah.
And this year, it seems like he just needed that extra year to recover from the ACL. And he looks more explosive this year. He's better pass catcher this year. He really just needs a better situation. And him hitting free agency is going to be great. Now, as I say that, watch the Jets come out and be like, we gave him a contract extension. So
Yeah.
that
I
is
mean,
that
it
is
could
my
happen-
fear. But given all the tension they had this whole offseason,
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he wants to be there, and it seems like he is not only like internalizing the fact that like, oh, I'm not their guy, they didn't draft me. It seems like he is getting that vibe from the team based on what he's saying.
yeah.
Like that's what that tells
What
me.
I like about everything I've heard coming out of Brees Hall's camp is that he wants to be a workhorse back. He was talking to the Jets agency about like, I'm a workhorse back. I can handle 3 downs. He's been so outspoken about that makes me more confident buying him in because I think he's going to prioritize going to a spot where he will be the workhorse back. And given how he's been talking about that this whole offseason, I'm kind of buying in because that makes me feel that like he's not going to go to a team that already has a lot of competition for him. He wants to be on the field. And that's the kind of player I love buying into because they're going to push to get on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the time to buy because once he's on the Chiefs or wherever he goes,
He's going to skyrocket.
his value is going to fly up. So I really like that right now. And then Garrett Wilson is an interesting one.
To me, he's Garrett Wilson. He's just going to be who he is. He's going to put up back end wide receiver 1 numbers no matter who's throwing him the ball. And I don't have a whole lot to say about him because it's just like he is who he is. I'm not worried when the Jets draft Mendoza or Dante Moore or any of these rookie quarterbacks because they're going to be the same as Fields. And Wilson has shown that he can be a wide receiver one with that passing prowess. So,
Yeah.
if anything, I'm a little bit more optimistic if they do get more of a passing quarterback because that's what he needs to kind of take that leap up into the top 6 wide receiver range is to get a quarterback that
Yeah.
actually slings the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has the long-term contract. He signed the 4-year, $130 million deal. Currently, he's obviously benefiting in this terrible offense. He's benefiting from being in a room with no talent around him at the wide receiver position. His target share is ridiculous. He's averaging 34.8% of the targets through 6 games here. I think, honestly, I agree with you. I think that he's fine. To me, it just feels like the top 5 finish upside. It feels like we're a bit far away from that just because this year it's Tyrod. Next year, best case scenario, it's a top 3 pick at the quarterback position. We don't, not everybody is Jaden Daniels, right? And not everybody's going to be able to propel these guys to double-digit touchdowns. So I worry about the ceiling there, and I think that there are some other guys in his value range that do have that ceiling that I would prefer. But I think he's absolutely fine. He will continue to produce. I think he's better. I think he's been compared a lot, and I did this, compared to like a DJ Moore or a Terry McLaurin, where we know that they're good, but their entire career it's always said, okay, this guy is so good, but he doesn't have a quarterback. I think Garrett Wilson is better than those guys, but he still needs a quarterback if he wants to produce at a top end wide receiver 1 level.
Yeah, but at his buying price, you're buying him at like wide receiver 8, 9, 10 prices. And to me, that's fine because you're going to get what you pay for no matter what, essentially. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a higher upside, especially if he does get a quarterback that can throw for 200, 250 yards consistently a game. Because he's getting wide receiver 1 numbers with a quarterback that struggles to hit 150, 175 yards passing. All he needs is another 20 to 30% bump up in passing production for him to start making that leap up into the top 6 range. So I like buying him. I've kind of bought him everywhere because I feel like he's probably the most consistent quarterback agnostic wide receiver you can buy. Doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball. He's going to be a late end wide receiver 1 no matter what. And his price has been that. So it's not like you're paying a premium for him. Like you're paying for what you get with a little bit of an upside added on.
Yeah, absolutely. There is one more Jet that we can touch on. I don't need to say anything here. This is obviously Tags' guy, Mason Taylor. We've talked about him a lot, but Tags, if there's anything that you want to update after a bad week he had this past Sunday?
Nope. I think
he's good.
I've said enough about him. He's great. I'm a fan of him, and he kind of has the same. I have the same feelings towards him as Garrett Wilson, where it's like, I think you're going to get a steady tight end, and it can only go up if they get an actual legit passing threat. So it'll be interesting to see if Tyrod does start, to see what their production profiles look like with Tyrod, because he's a little bit more of a passing profile. And I'm curious to see what their target percentage share is between them once they make the switch to Tyrod. So
yeah, it does
something to keep an eye on, but I'm not worried for Mason Taylor. He's like 21 years old, one of the youngest tight ends in this draft. He's a great receiving profile. He's a good blocker too, so he's going to be on the field for 80 to 90% of the snaps every week. And it's kind of what you look for in a tight end. He's good after the catch, good breaking tackles. I think he's just an all-around good player, and the Jets lack that on offense. So he's going to be needed by default.
Yeah, it does feel like him and Garrett Wilson could be a good 1-2 punch for a rookie quarterback coming in. Just solid targets to look to. And, whether Aaron Glenn sticks around, We'll have to see.
I'm not worried about
some
him.
regimes.
I think he's good for another year or two at least, especially with the organization making the remarks they have about him.
Yeah, I do think that you're more inclined to defend the coach that you hired rather than the middling quarterback that you signed, regardless of how you truly feel about them. I do think that we could go into I mean, I don't think the Jets are historically a reactionary ownership group that are going to, fire people at the first chance they get. But if let's say they end up with the number 1 overall pick and you're going to be drafting a quarterback, do you want to go with a defensive minded head coach who won 2 games with what should be like the Jets roster is not that bad. The offensive line coming into this year was supposed to be really good. The defense last year was good. So do you want to stick with him or do you want to move to like a young offensive mind who can sort of potentially partner a franchise quarterback? We'll have to see. We can talk about that in the offseason, obviously.
Imagine Mike McDaniel goes there.
Not as the head coach. There's no way.
As offensive coordinator, though.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't.
Cool.
I don't think,
everybody wants Mike McDaniel.
I would be stunned if they move off Aaron Glenn already.
Really?
Aaron Glenn was such a hot topic, a hot name that teams are trying to add this offseason. You can't put him in this situation in 1 year and then can him after a year, especially when he has the resume that he does. You got to give him a little bit more leeway. And I think that's the perfect coach you want with a new quarterback coming in, because if they can get their defense figured out, that takes a lot of pressure off the rookie quarterback to be productive.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to see how the rest of the season goes. Currently, I think I disagree with you. I think that it would absolutely, if he wins 2 games, I think you should fire him. I think this roster is too good for that.
I don't think the roster is that good. I think it has a lot of name value, but it's missing actual blue chip players. It's got a lot of B tier players. But it has like no studs outside of Sauce. There aren't a ton of studs on that defense. The offense,
Quinnen Williams?
Outside of Sauce and Quinnen Williams, there's not a whole lot of people on that defense.
I don't know, man. Jermaine Johnson is good. The offensive line has top 12 picks at left and right tackle. Garrett Wilson's obviously a really good player. They have a good running back. I think it would be, I don't think they should necessarily fire him. I think it would be an absolutely fine decision to fire him if he wins 2 games and they have the number 1 overall pick and the opportunity to select Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore or Ty Simpson, whoever. We'll see. Moving over to the team that just had the number 1 overall pick, the Tennessee Titans. Now, there really isn't a lot to say here. I think we can breeze through this one really quickly. Cam Ward, I personally still think he's good. Eventually, he will stop directly giving the ball to the other team by just dropping it without being touched, hopefully. I don't think that speaks to his ability as a quarterback. He's a rookie. These silly things are going to happen. He's clearly not good enough right now to overcome an awful situation, right?
I do think it's going to be interesting to see who goes in as their new coach, because that's obviously going to change a lot there. He should have. I feel like the Titans are on the same. They're just a year behind the Panthers. They're going to be doing the same exact thing. Where they go into the draft.
I don't think you could have said anything worse. A year,
you guys are
behind the Panthers.
Hey man, next year you're going to be 4-3 somehow. Even though you've had more points scored against you than you've scored, and you're going to be like, "Yep, this is something, all right." You're going to have Rico Dowdle somehow on your team.
Jesus.
But I think they're going to build out their team the same way the Panthers do. You kind of have to. They're going to bring a new coach, and you just got to put weapons around Cam Ward and then see what he does with that. They're going to have a top 5 pick.
Jordan Tyson.
I was going to say they're 100% taking Tyson or Carnell Tate. You can book it right now. I don't know what the Vegas odds are, but put $50 on it. You're gonna make money if you're picking them to pick one of those two wide receivers.
You need to give Cam.
He needs his Tet
Cam
McMillan.
some help. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I get what you mean with the. He's better than Bryce Young, though. I do think he's better than Bryce Young.
My biggest beef with him coming out of college was he plays so late. He cannot play on time. He holds the ball so much. He takes forever to get through his reads, and it's showing that on his tape already in the NFL. And I've got concerns. I only have him in one league, and I'm like trying. There's a lot of teams that are like realizing their season's going poorly, so they're punting. And I'm also punting, but I'm trying to get rid of Cam Ward to one of those teams. So I'm pretty out on Cam Ward. I hope he turns it around. He's a super fun player. I loved his personality, attitude in the draft. When he was asked like what else he does, like what are his hobbies, he's like, I play football. I just play football. I'm a football player. Like, what other hobbies? So I love the guy. I want him to succeed. He just needs to play faster. He needs to learn how to play on time, get through his reads quickly, and he needs weapons there. So I think we'll definitely see Tyson or Carnell Tate come in there. It's going to help him a lot. We'll see if they keep Ridley or not, or if they cut him for cap space. But yeah, other than that, I feel like the Titans, I feel like Tajay Spears should be mentioned. I don't think they keep Pollard for another year.
No.
And I was big on Spears coming out of the draft. I loved his talent, but obviously the knee issues with him not having an ACL caused him to drop.
I don't know. I think he's a jag. Like, he's fine. I don't think he's anything special. And bringing on an entire new staff, we're now 2 staffs removed from who drafted Tajay Spears. And he has, after this season, like, he's going to have a year left on his rookie deal. I just think that he's just going to be a guy that they move on from. Whether he ends up in like a committee next season and has some value with Pollard gone, maybe.
I don't think he can be a workhorse back, but
no. And he's going to be splitting on a bad offense. So I think if you can get any, I don't know, like I'd sell Spears for a third right now, probably.
I've sold him in the past 2 weeks. I've sold him twice for a second. So there's still a market for him.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I'm honestly like, I wouldn't buy him for a second, but
no,
I'm still up on him. I think he's a fun player. He's elusive. He ends up like, whenever I watch him, whenever he touches the ball, it feels like he gets swarmed like a yard behind line of scrimmage and somehow ducks his way to getting 2 or 3 yards.
I mean, I'm honestly just shocked that you're watching the Titans, but
only when it comes up on Red Zone, you know. And it comes up on Red Zone, it's like a jump scare. It's like, oh God, it's Cam Ward.
Well, Tags, I don't know if you know, but the Titans don't know where the Red Zone is.
It's when other teams are on a commercial break and they don't have any other teams to cut to. Speaking of,
I do think Alec Ayomanor needs a quick mention.
Yeah, he's been
if Cam is
solid.
good. He's been good. I thought he was very good. I thought he was worth more than a 4th-round pick. And if Cam ends up being good, I do think that Alec could be a very solid wide receiver 2 for this team for a long time. He plays all the snaps. Great blocker. He's relied on in the run game in that aspect. And he's been really good. Contested grabs, route running has looked good. And he's just, considering he's a 4th-round pick on a bottom 3 offense in the league, he's producing way more than you would expect.
Yeah. We talked about him a bit on our rookie redraft because he jumped all the way up to the late 2nd round value range, which was a huge jump from where he started. So
absolutely, if you can buy him for a 3rd, if you can flip Tajay Spears for Alec Ayomanor, do that right now.
Yeah, I like it.
Moving on, we can talk about a team in salary cap hell, the New Orleans Saints. They're an interesting conversation because for as long as I can remember, people have been saying they need to just blow it up. They have all these void years. They have so much dead money. They need to kind of just accept that they're going to suck for a few years. And I think obviously Alvin Kamara is the biggest Well, Chris Olave's there too, but Alvin Kamara is a big talking point right now because he's been involved in trade rumors, but then he comes out and says that he will retire if he gets traded. He does not want to play anywhere.
Even the Saints are saying that though. Like the Saints are like, yeah, we're not moving Kamara. Like he's off the table.
Yeah.
So I don't think they move Kamara. I think they do want him to retire a Saint. I think he means that much to the organization. And it's also extremely rare that ever happens. So I guess take it with a grain of salt because it could come out today that they're like, oh, he's being traded off. Because you see that even with like Nick Chubb, who meant everything to the Browns, and he moved on with his career.
Derrick Henry,
it's
the Titans.
Extremely rare that a running back spends his entire career with a team and then retires with that team like they said they want him to. So I kind of take it with a grain of salt because it's like almost never happens that actually pans out that way. But Kamara has said it. Saints have said it. I'm just going to assume he's staying with the Saints until he just wants to be done.
Me too. And I think that it's awful for any sort of fantasy outlook. He's been terrible. He's been really disappointing this year. And this offense is not going to get any better. Like Rattler's there right now. And he's honestly been better than you would think. Like in terms of as an NFL quarterback, he isn't doing anything for fantasy. Obviously,
he's been a lot better this year. He's
been fine.
Taken a step up. He's progressed. He's kept them in games that they had no business being in.
I do think,
I've been
however,
impressed with them. But will they replace
top
him?
5 pick? If they have a top 5 pick, Spencer Rattler does not stop you from drafting
that's going to be
somebody.
tough. But
so
on the flip side, if they're tearing down that team, cutting all cap, you don't want to put a new quarterback in that situation.
You wouldn't want to, but I think that we need to sort of accept the fact that that doesn't matter, and these teams do not pass up opportunities to draft quarterbacks. They do not. People like the Titans were not in a position to throw a rookie quarterback into this offense, but you don't know when you're going to be back in this situation, right? Like the Saints, if they end up with the top 5 pick, they're going to be looking ahead like, yeah, our roster is going to suck, but who knows what the 2027 quarterback class looks like. Arch Manning doesn't look good. Like these things you can't project out that far, and they are likely going to draft somebody if they have the opportunity to. And it probably isn't better for Kamara in his year 1, right? Even if he is still there, right? I don't think that they release him if he doesn't get traded, he's not going to get released. He's honestly probably like a great vet to have around a rookie quarterback, right? Like somebody who's been there, who can be an outlet in the passing game. And if he doesn't want to leave, I feel like they will just honor that. And I hate that for his fantasy value because this offense is going to suck.
That offense could be completely different by next year. Because if you look, there's Spencer Rattler at quarterback. We don't know what's going to happen with that. They did take Shuck last year. He's on the bench.
Who knows? Who knows what's going on with him?
If I'm the Saints, I'm cutting everyone for cap, and I'm not drafting a quarterback this year. Like, let's run it back one more year with Rattler and Shuck in that awful situation. Draft a good O-line, and then gear up 2027 to draft a quarterback. Because no matter who you draft, he's just gonna fail in that situation, or at best be what Spencer Rattler is right now. So
I get it, but if they have, let's say that they have the 3rd overall pick, and Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, and Ty Simpson are all really good quarterback prospects. Do you think they would pass on one of those 3?
If they're smart, they would, but it depends on if I don't think their coach is keeping his job. Depends on who they bring in. And
Ty Simpson, you don't think Kellen Moore is going to keep his job?
He should.
He's a first year. I can't stand for you for saying that Aaron Glenn is going to be fine, but Kellen Moore's not. The Jets roster is without a doubt better than the Saints.
That's fair.
So I think, and here's the thing, I think that in that situation, like the owner is just thinking about what's going to put butts in seats, right? And so a rookie quarterback is going to do that more than Spencer Rattler, who just led you to a top 3 pick. So
So they have hardly any cap space. At least they're getting rid of the Taysom Hill contract. But they're still going to be hit with about 10 million in dead space because of that.
And
Which
for the record, I think you're right.
what
They
a
should.
parting
This
gift.
is how teams should.
What a parting gift from Sean Payton was that Taysom Hill contract for the Saints. Like, what a terrible contract.
Awful. For the record, I think you're right. I think you're right in the sense that teams should wait until the situation is right to implement a quarterback. It just doesn't happen because the clock is too. The clock. They don't have. These coaches don't have enough time. If Kellen Moore goes in with Spencer Rattler and a not improved roster, because how can they improve this roster with no money? And how can we expect them to win any more than they are this year? He's just going to get canned. A rookie quarterback, if he wins 5 games with a rookie quarterback, at least you can say, okay, it was his first year. He's going to improve. These kind of things.
Yeah, and Kellen Moore is historically a good offensive coach, good for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He's probably who I want developing a quarterback, which I think that's why we've seen Rattler take the step up this year, is play calling and Kellen Moore. But that offense is going to be so interesting because it's going to be gone. Like, Kamara's going to be there. Chris Olave's, he could play on a 5th-year option. He shouldn't.
They did pick it up. They picked it up, but he has no extension as of yet.
Yeah, he needs to get extended.
I think he's a very interesting conversation.
Shaheed is a free agent this offseason, and Shaheed's a good wide receiver. Like, he's a great wide receiver too for a team. You put Shaheed on the Chiefs, give him to us Patriots. Give him to the Patriots, please, because May's gonna drop so many bombs to Shaheed because Shaheed is open so often, and he's a great wide receiver. And he's done after this year there. He doesn't have a contract. He's hitting free agency. Olave's playing on a 5th-year option. Who's going to be in that offense? And if they
I think Olave is very interesting. So he's averaging his highest snap percentage of his career, his highest targets per game. He's averaging 10 targets a game.
He's been a volume hog, but
he's
the quality,
31% target
of
share.
those targets is abysmal. It's
the yards.
How many stat lines does he have where it's 10 catches for 57 yards, no touchdowns?
Yeah, the yards per target, he's been between 8 and 9 for his first 3 years, and it's at 6.2. So he's getting a lot of the more short, figure it out stuff, which is probably because of how Kellen Moore is designing the offense around Spencer Rattler. Which, credit to him, he's making Spencer Rattler look good. And yeah, you're right. It's like 7 for 54, 6 for 54, 10 for 57, 7 for 59. His past 2 games, he's at 98 yards both games.
Nothing but consistent for 50 to 60 yards.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that he's like Garrett Wilson, but worse. You know, like just he's gonna dominate target share, but he's on a bad offense.
He's Garrett Wilson without the ceiling.
Very.
He doesn't get touchdowns.
Yeah,
and he doesn't.
I like that a lot.
Long plays. So
yeah. Hope maybe with a rookie quarterback, he gets back to that 8 yards per target. With a guy who can kind of push the ball downfield a little more. But yeah, right now he's just like a wide receiver. He's a low end wide receiver too, right? That's all he is.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's it for the Saints.
You want to go to
sell Kamara? Honestly, that's the last thing I'll say. Like, I would sell Kamara right now for whatever you can get for him. He is like averaging career lows absolutely everywhere. Whether it's points, carries, yards, touchdowns.
Yeah, they don't score touchdowns and they can't run the ball. It's just a rough combination.
He's also not getting involved in the passing game. He hasn't averaged less than 32 receiving yards per game his entire career. He's averaging 17. He's down to 4 targets a game. His previous career low was 5. Like, he's down a full target from that. So it's just bad, and it's not going to get any better. And all indicators are that he's not moving. So I would get whatever you could.
I agree. I want to go to the Cardinals, which is my spiciest team to talk about.
Yeah. Let's talk. There's one more one win team that we need to get to after, but let's move to the Cardinals now. They are 2-5, and they look terrible.
Man, Kyler Murray needs the Justin Fields treatment, meaning he needs benched.
Justice.
Because Brissett has come in for 2 games and has looked infinitely better than Kyler Murray's looked all year. Like, they actually have life on offense with Brissett. They have a passing attack. And my concern is that I'm not sure when they can get out of Kyler Murray's contract. But the fact that fact that Brissett can pop in there, be as productive as he is, Marvin Harrison Jr. looks better, Trey McBride looks better, all the pieces in that offense look better. He elevates the offense in ways that Kyler Murray hasn't done all year. We were like, oh, Kyler Murray, his offensive coordinator, the play calling is bad. The offensive coordinator sucks, doesn't know how to use Kyler. And that all might be true, but this offense doesn't run with Kyler Murray. And it's the fact that Brissett just popped in, is as playing as good as he is, kind of proves that to me. And if I'm a Kyler guy, I'm trying to get out before he gets the Justin Fields treatment and his value just like plummets.
So, yeah, I took a look at this. If I'm understanding it correctly, cutting Kyler this offseason would only cost them $4 million in 2026. So his dead cap is like $57 million or something, and his cap hit is 53. And that only goes down after 2026. So if they end up with a top 10 pick and the opportunity to draft a quarterback, I think he could. It's kind of crazy, but I think he could get cut. His value has obviously plummeted. But the thing with Kyler is he might be one of the best. Like, he might be a top 5 out of structure quarterback that I've ever seen. The way he can scramble down the field, the way he can make defenders miss when he's scrambling. But he's so incompetent in structure that it's like, how do you design an offense around that? How do you design an offense around a guy who is only good when the offense doesn't work? You know, you know what I mean? It's like the most backwards thing ever.
So I'm seeing that their first potential out is 2028.
Really?
Yeah. If they want, I wonder what the dead cap is. If they cut him in 2027, there's a $7 million dead cap. If they cut him,
what's his cap hit? Because they don't have to pay his cap hit if they cut him, right?
I believe they do because it's fully guaranteed. We need a contract expert here.
But that's the dead cap that they have to pay. The dead cap is because it's guaranteed, right? So if he has a $57 million dead cap and his cap hit is 53, then they net $4 million. Or they lose $4 million, sorry. That's how I understand it.
Well, if they cut him this offseason, they would still owe him $57 million.
Which they would have to pay him, but they wouldn't also have to pay the cap hit.
Yes, I believe so.
So then they would only lose $4 million total.
Yeah, but you'd still be paying $57 million to have a player that's not playing.
Yes, absolutely. But if they only are caring about how much money they're losing, then maybe the net $4 million is worth moving on.
I don't think so, because then you still have to pay a backup quarterback, and that's going to be what, 10 million, 8 to 10 million. So it's going to be worse. But if you have a backup overall, and a rookie, I don't think they can cut him. I think they have to try to trade him. Find a team that wants
they could try to trade him. Either way, they could easily end up here with a top 10 pick and the opportunity to draft a quarterback. And I think that could be very interesting. I do think with the weapons, Trey McBride, there's not much to say. He's a top 3 tight end in Dynasty.
Yeah.
I don't think that changes regardless of the quarterback. I mean, we've seen that with any quarterback that is above 6 feet tall, he scores touchdowns. So as long as they don't draft a guy who is 5'11",
can you imagine?
He should be great.
They draft a quarterback even smaller than Kyler.
Oh my gosh. Arizona would riot. Arizona would turn into
but it'd be really funny, so completely worth it just for the lulz.
It would be very funny. But look, Trey McBride scores 3 touchdowns in 2 games. as soon as Jacoby Brissett's playing.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. is more productive.
Is he? Has he been?
He still hasn't gotten the volume we want to see, but he's gotten the yardage. So
Okay. I looked at Marv. I wanted to compare.
I think Marv's quality of targets has gone up. He still needs to see a bit of a volume bump, but he definitely has looked better with Brissett throwing him the ball.
I looked at just Marv as a whole here, comparing his healthy games in 2024 to his healthy games this season. The numbers are like staggeringly identical. He's gone up 0.6 points per game. His targets are within 1, receptions within 1, yardage, he's gone up like 7. His yards per route run has gone from 1.76 to 1.8. I'm a little worried here. Without, like, we haven't seen the improvement that was not promised, but expected. And, like, is he good? Is he, like, is this going to be a guy who, I mean, look what Trey McBride is doing with Jacoby Brissett. Why aren't we seeing that same jump in production from Marv in 2025?
Yeah, I'm still fine on Marv. I'm still waiting. It's weird because he's shown it in flashes. Like he makes
like
plays.
The Thursday night game against Seattle.
Yeah, he makes plays all the time where it's like, okay, you're legit. Yeah. Like you have it. You have that talent. You just need to be more consistent with it. And Marv is very young and plays a physical style of wide receiver that he wasn't used to going against cornerbacks who can match that physicality in college. And I think that's taken a little bit of time to kind of adjust to the strength of play and the speed of play. So I'm still in on Marvin Harrison Jr. for better or worse. I'm just kind of waiting to see how he continues to develop with Brissett throwing the ball. Now, if Kyler goes back in, then I'm going to be like, God, here we go again. Like, we don't even get the chance.
Because then it just feels like...
We don't even get a chance to see
throw it out.
What Marv's upside is.
Yeah. I completely agree. With Kyler, obviously his value has fallen a lot. If I could flip him directly for any of these guys, or if I could add a little plus to get a guy who is a solidified starter, like even like a Penix or a JJ McCarthy, I would do that. Trevor Lawrence, producing similarly, and I think his job is more secure. And then a few like Sam Darnold.
I think Darnold you could do. I don't think the others are going to move them for Kyler. Like
probably not. Why but I would add a little plus to it. Daniel Jones.
Don't have any reason to. I'm keeping Daniel Jones, man.
You should.
He's a QB1, and he's going to get locked in for a long-term contract there, especially if they continue the run they're going on.
I do think that name value could have somebody thinking that they're lucking into being able to flip Daniel Jones for Kyler Murray.
That guy that tunes into their team once every 2 to 3 weeks.
Exactly.
I definitely think I think Darnold is the most intriguing one to me because Darnold has looked great this year. He went to the Kyle Shanahan school for colleges school for quarterbacks who don't quarterback well. And that's a Zoolander quote for anyone who got it. And he's played great. Everyone was concerned about him in that system with that offensive line, and he's been phenomenal. So I'm gladly swapping Kyler for Darnold. Luckily, I don't have Kyler in any leagues.
I don't have a single share.
Yeah, I got out of them 2 years ago, and I was like, yeah, I think I've seen enough on this guy. But if I had him, like, I'm gladly swapping him for Darnold and not thinking twice about it.
Yeah. I really like the Daniel Jones target because I do think that it takes a while for people to sort of make that flip into this guy might actually be good. And it would be tough, but like Darnold last year, he didn't gain a ton of value. Like he gained, obviously, but he was still below all of these old, like low-end QB2 starters. He was still below all of them. I would also like do whatever I could, not whatever I could, but I would pay a good amount to go from Kyler to a Goff or a Dak somebody who is, especially Dak, who could win you your league this year. Somebody who Dak is a little older, but he's producing a ton. Somebody might want to move off of him to get to a younger option who they feel is being undervalued right now. I would pay Kyler plus. I think you could get Kyler in a second done for Dak. I do think you could do that in some leagues. And that's a smash for me.
Problem with that is that if I'm a Dak owner, every single Dak team I have is a contender because Dak's been playing that well. And I would need more than a second to move from that Dak production to a Kyler if I'm trying to contend. You make it Kyler in a late first, then I'm like, okay, that gives me a little bit of a security behind it. But I don't trust that Kyler's going to have a starting job next year. So I don't want to move a quarterback for a guy who could just be a rental. Kyler might not even have a starting job next week.
But here's the thing. Not everybody's as smart as we are. And so they don't know. They don't know that Kyler's toast. They think that he's going to be fine. They aren't watching the Cardinals. Yeah. So I would try and get off of him pretty darn quickly if you haven't already.
I agree.
The only one-win team, actually, there's the Baltimore Ravens who have one win, but they're going to be fine. Lamar's going to come back.
Their whole team is injured. They're going to get him back from injury. It's all right.
Yeah. So the only other one-win team that we haven't talked about is the Miami Dolphins. And this is honestly where we could see the most change in terms of a team that's been solidified in its ways for a long time. We could see a new head coach. We could see a new quarterback. They've said as of right now that they don't plan to make any changes. But every team has its limit, and Mike McDaniel has been there long enough that if they continue to lose games,
when have teams ever lied to us too?
No, exactly. And they said that Tua is the starter, but dude, he has looked absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
absolutely terrible.
That team as a whole, besides Achane and I guess Waddle. Waddle's been fine. It just looks bad. I don't know. I mean, Mike McDaniel's not keeping his job. He's gonna be gone unless they make
it would need a wild turn.
Unless they make some insane push. Mike McDaniel's gone. What's Tua's contract like? Is he almost done?
So it's similar to Kyler in that the $4 million that the Cardinals would net lose for Kyler, for the Dolphins, it's $11 million in 2026 for Tua.
Okay.
So they would be down $11 million total and Tua Tagovailoa. So they look even more likely to have a top 5 pick to select a quarterback than the Cardinals do. And I think it's solidified.
Are we going to have 3 top 5 quarterbacks this draft? Is it going to be another one of those?
It could be. Ty Simpson is rising like crazy. Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza were already there.
If that happens, 2026 first round picks are going to skyrocket. Because currently
everybody was saying
currently they're hella cheap.
This is why. When all those conversations were happening, 2027. Send your 2026 firsts for 2027 firsts. Because Jeremiah Smith and Arch Manning and stuff. You cannot evaluate these classes even 6 months out. You can't do it.
Yeah, remember when Arch Manning was supposed to be the best college quarterback ever? And now he's of all time. He might not even be drafted.
Oh my God. There are 3, Fernando Mendoza looked good at the end of last year. He did. But people were not saying, okay, he's a solidified first-round quarterback coming into this college football season. Dante Moore wasn't getting talked about. Ty Simpson wasn't getting talked about. Ty Simpson, I think he was a 5-star recruit, and he's just been sitting as a backup for 3 years. Finally gets to start. He looks great for Alabama. This 2026 class looks really good. There could be 2 top 15 wide receivers. Jeremiah Love is going to be a first-round running back.
I swear this happens every year.
Pisses
and every
me off.
year I just I roll my eyes because every year, even last year's class was supposed to be awful. Everything was sell your picks for 2026. Sell your picks for 2026. And this class has been great. We just did our rookie redraft episode last week, and I'm going through it and I'm like, oh, that guy's exceeded production. That guy's exceeded production. This guy's doing great. There was what 12 players who are like in your active starting roster every single week right now, and that's like phenomenal for a rookie class. That
Yeah.
a rookie class is already producing at that level already. And
Yeah.
and
And
this past year was supposed to be the down year after a stacked 2024 class. 2025 was supposed to be, oh, sell your picks for 2026. Happens every year. People always elevate their game in the college game. And honestly, like having a top 4, top 5 pick is about as safe as an asset as you can get in fantasy football. It's the hit rate on those picks are about like 92% last I checked. That
and the value doesn't fluctuate until the pick is made.
yeah.
So you know that value is solidified. And yeah, there's a tight end that looks like a lot of fun. Kenyon Sadiq
Yep.
out of Oregon. He is a monster. He looks like a lot of fun. Could be a first round pick. So yeah, the Dolphins could absolutely be in the market for that. And Tua, I mean, his value has plummeted. I don't think you can get anything for him now.
I told you this deal. In one of my leagues, I bought him for a late second. I'm currently first in max points for. I'm undefeated. Kind of the head to win the whole ship. And I sent a second for him. I'm just kind of banking on like maybe he gets another job. Maybe he goes to the Shanahan school of quarterbacks who can't quarterback well.
Sure.
For a late second, I'm fine gambling on it because that's what I sent for Bryce last year. He went on a run, and then I flipped Bryce for a first and a second. So
yeah, at the end of this season, he could for the rest of the year average 15 points a game, and that's fine in a superflex spot, right?
yeah,
Like on
there's
certain roster builds,
almost guaranteed there's going to be an opportunity that I can sell him for more than a late second. Quarterbacks just gain value so easily.
Yeah, absolutely. We should talk about Devon Achane. I worry a little bit that he is not scheme dependent, but that he has been propped up a lot by the scheme. I think he's an incredible talent. He's a really good player. I just don't know if he would be this productive in other schemes. I remember during the draft process, it was Jason Moore on the Ballers who talked about this a lot. He was out on Achane. Really small, fast guy, bit of an injury history in college, all this kind of stuff. And then he goes to the Dolphins and he's like, okay, I'm in. Because of it's the quick game stuff, it's the speed, outside zone, this kind of scheme that McDaniel runs. And I think Achane's an incredible talent. And this isn't necessarily a take that I have, it's just a worry that maybe it's not as good.
I have literally no concern about Achane.
Right.
Because any coach, Achane is their best weapon. It's not Hill. It's not Waddle. It's Achane is their best and most efficient, most effective, explosive weapon they have. Any coach who goes in there is going to build his game plan around Achane. And they should because he's their best weapon they're going to have available. They already know how to use him. The Dolphins kind of laid out a blueprint of how to effectively use this guy. And if he's your best weapon, you need to utilize him the best way possible because they don't have many weapons outside of that. Waddle is in and out of games constantly. He's fine, but hasn't shown to be a legit, consistent weapon for that offense. And then Hill is toast, most likely. I don't think he's coming back. So anyone coming in is going to prioritize getting Achane the ball, making him productive because that's the only way their offense is going to move. So I see Achane as having a Kamara career. I think they're just going to continue utilizing him in the passing game, getting him space, feeding him touches, because who else is going to move the ball on that team? It's going to be him.
Yeah.
Only thing they could bring in is like a more steady power back. Ollie Gordon was supposed to be that. Ollie Gordon's kind of, I don't know. He was a 6th round pick for a reason.
Yeah, he's just not explosive. He's not. But I mean, yeah, Achane isn't the
even if they bring in a 2nd round back next year, I'm not worried because Achane has his role, And if anything, he's going to be more effective with it, like he's seen. He's kind of that running back that produces running back one numbers no matter what. And he has different ways to produce those numbers, whether it's in the passing game, running game, screens, sweeps. They just do everything with him because he's their best weapon and only way they can move the ball. So I don't think that changes at all, no matter with a new system coming in, new quarterback, anything.
Yeah, I think that I do think that he can overcome most things. I guess my worry draws more from not that they would draft somebody else, but that if you look at the offense right now, it's bad, right? It's really bad. The offensive line is bad. Tua is bad. And Mike McDaniel is propping up Devon Achane to produce as an RB1, right? In this offense. I worry that in another bad offense, it wouldn't be as good. That's all I would say. Yeah. I'm saying that this bad offense would be better for Devon Achane than any other bad offense just because of how he is used. I don't know if every coordinator would use him like that.
I think you can do a glass half full take on this. The glass half, like the pessimistic view is that he's being propped up. I think that forced production is by necessity because they know he's the only productive member on their team. And that's not going to change going into next year. So
yeah, you're right.
I don't think it's
get your best players the ball.
I don't think it's forced. I think it's that he's their best weapon. We need to get him the ball because he's the best shot at us winning. So I feel like it's kind of the same thing. There's just two different ways to think about it. I view it as a positive because I think anyone going to that system sees the same thing. Achane's the best shot that we can win this game. Let's get him the ball. Let's feed him. So I'm not worried about him, and I like his skill set to be a long-term productive skill set.
I'm curious how you feel about Jalen Waddle because he's signed through 2028. Is he just like the AFC Chris Olave? It's sort of just like he's aging a little bit in front of our eyes, and he's been kind of like whatever the past few years, and he's gone a little under the radar.
That's such a gross comparison. Who's been more injured throughout their years? Chris Olave or is it Waddle?
They're in the medical tent every game. Waddle turns 27 in a month.
Yeah.
And it sort of feels like
old.
We talked about him coming into the year. Like after week 1, I think we were like, we're kind of done with this completely. But he's deceptively old. I think he has maybe the perception that he's a little younger than he is. So I'm kind of flipping this. I kind of like him as a rental buy on a contender, where if I can get him as a
and you did just buy
wide
him this
receiver,
week, so.
I did just buy him, which isn't the perfect example. Just
he was
because
not
so
the focal
huge.
Point of the deal.
He was a tiny piece of a deal where I down tiered from Jaden Daniels to Jackson Dart, but like I like him as like a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 on a contending team where he is going to be the focal point of this offense who, whether they can do it well or not, they have to throw the ball. And there's not another very talented wide receiver on this team. Yep. And Darren Waller is hurt now.
It just seems like
rest in peace.
Every single game he goes to the medical tent.
yeah, it's scary. It's scary. But if you can get him for a good price.
I don't like that ride.
Yeah. I don't like it either. This is my first share. Like I have one. This is my only share that I have, and it was literally just like this guy offered me a deal, and I was like looking at his team for a counter, and I was like, Waddle is what makes the most sense here for me. But yeah, deceptively old, and I don't know what the future holds here. If he can figure out the injury stuff, maybe he's fine with a rookie quarterback for a few years.
God, deceptively old is my new favorite way to say you look great.
It's funny.
You don't look at all like you're 32. You're deceptively old.
That's awesome.
That's really definitely going in my daily vocabulary now. It's going to be the most offhand way to compliment somebody.
That's so funny. You know who's deceptively old? Mac Jones.
What is he? 25?
He's 27.
No.
Yes.
Mentally, I have erased the Mac Jones era of him on the Patriots, and
As you
there's
should.
just a void there in my mind. I was like,
Mac Jones is 27 years
that's
old.
wild. I would have guessed he was 25.
Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Time flies when you're ass at football.
It really does. It really does. He just forgot about him. He's back up on the 49ers.
Yep.
Played for the Jags a little bit. Yeah.
Man.
The last bad team, I don't think that this team necessarily, actually we have a tiny little bit on the Panthers after this, but I don't think the Houston Texans should expect a lot of change in terms of coaching
Nah.
or quarterback or anything like that.
It's been a weird
secure.
year for him. With like,
But,
it started, the vibes were bad, as the kids say.
Well, here's the thing, Tags.
Going into the offseason with Mixon.
Mixon's a different story, but when everybody collectively comes into the year and they're like, this Texans offensive line is terrible. Why did they trade Laramie Tunsil? Why did they not spend any meaningful capital? I mean, I think they got Ariante Ursary in the second round as a tackle out of Minnesota, but everybody knew that this offensive line was bad. And then the offensive line is terrible, and it's like, we got to figure out how to fix this Texans offense. We could have told you. CJ Stroud looks awful because he has to run. He has to turn around and run. He has the I don't know who coined this gene, but he has that gene where it's just like, as soon as you see pressure, you stare at your own goalpost and chase and like run backwards.
Yeah.
That's CJ Stroud has that gene. I have no doubt that in his career he will have another quarterback one season. He's good enough.
Which was so unlike his rookie season. Like, I don't know where that popped up at to where that was
it's so weird.
Became one of his tendencies.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think that the line was just better. He wasn't getting pressured as much. And right now he cannot overcome how bad the offensive line is. But as we saw in his rookie year, he thrives in a good situation. Even in week 5 against that awful Ravens defense, he was the quarterback one through 4 touchdowns. So I think he's good. I don't think that he's a guy that you want on a contender right now. Like, I would try and, I'm looking at the rankings on Keep Trade Cut right now, trying to get some sense of his value in the community. If I can get Dak plus, Goff plus, Daniel Jones plus for CJ Stroud, yes, please. On a contender? Absolutely. I want to make that flip.
I think you could do Daniel Jones plus just on name value. If I'm a Dak owner, I'm not trading him for Stroud, especially not with a plus on.
If you're punting, would you be open? Obviously, we value Dak properly. The community may not necessarily, but if you're on a punting team and you have Dak, would you be interested in a flip for Stroud? I would probably be. If I can get a plus on Stroud, maybe.
I just feel like I can sell Dak for more. Like, I feel like I could get more elsewhere for Dak than Stroud. So I'd rather chase a different deal rather than swapping him for Stroud.
Yeah, if I do have Stroud, though, I want to move to one of those productive quarterbacks right now if I'm on a contender.
Yeah.
But if we haven't argued enough this episode, let's talk about Nico Collins. So this Nico Collins might be the player that we have disagreed the most on of any fantasy football asset since we've known each other.
Since the very beginning.
I think that Nico Collins is great. Tags thinks that he's a bum, and Xavier Hutchinson should play over him.
Those are my words exactly. So you pretty much nailed it on the spot. I think that Nico has been overvalued almost his entire career. A lot of startups, I would see him go at like the 204, 205, and I'm like, that's insane. This guy, Higgins, is going a round and a half later. What's the difference between them? Michael Pittman is going 2 rounds later, 3 rounds later. What's the difference between them?
I won't
Especially
take that.
with
Michael
Daniel Jones
Pittman?
now. Daniel Jones is going to be better than Stroud. He's feeding Pittman. Pittman's outperforming Nico. Now that they don't have Anthony Richardson throwing him the ball, like, give me Pittman over Nico. And they're almost the same age. Nico doesn't even have the age advantage over Pittman because Nico is old AF. He's deceptively old also.
I don't think he's deceptively old. I think people know that Nico's like 26.
Yeah, but it seems like he's only been productive for like 2 years. So it's like, oh, I feel like you should be like 24, 25 range.
Okay. Let me make the pro Nico case because it is necessary.
It's not that necessary.
Nico Collins, the reality is that Nico Collins is an elite wide receiver. He is an elite target earner. He's averaging his highest targets per game this year of his entire career. Now, on this terrible offense, obviously, it hasn't turned into many points. He was running at 3.24 yards per route run in 2023, which is an insane number, by the way, and 2.92 yards per route run in 2024. Okay? You want to know Michael Pittman's career high in yards per route run? It was 2.1 in 2021, half a decade ago. Okay? Michael Pittman has not come within 2 points per game on a season of what Nico Collins did in 2023 and 2024. Okay? Right now the situation is bad. He's sort of entering his vet era. Like he's going to be 2027. He's going to be 27, going into next season, 2026. He's sort of in that like AJ Brown mold now where he's older and he's going to be good on contending rosters, but you don't want him on a punting team. Rest of season, sure, maybe you can make the argument for Michael Pittman over Nico Collins because of the situation. But I do think the Texans will realize how stupid they were. They will fix it, and he will be good after this year. This season, he's a wide receiver too, and that's just kind of what you have to deal with. But I am not selling him right now because for me, he'd still be a top 15 wide receiver in Dynasty, inching towards the top 12. I don't have my exact rankings right now, but I still believe in the talent in the long term. He's an elite target earner. He's the only good weapon in that offense right now. We can talk about Higgins and Knoll. Neither of them have done anything with their opportunity so far. So I still love Nico. He's my guy. Honestly, I genuinely feel like sometimes when somebody pushes back against your take, it makes you believe it more. I don't know if anybody else experiences that.
How are you
that,
doubling down
but it's
now?
it's almost like I like Nico more just because you don't like him.
Hey man, these kind of takes are what get you into buying Justin Fields everywhere. and Chase Brown. Remember how much hate I had for Chase Brown?
Yeah. Chase Brown, that's not fair. Chase Brown was a good buy.
We'll just get all my player hate takes out right now just for people to keep track of. Bucky Irving is also the guy I've hated for a while. It's been Bucky, Chase, and Nico are those three players that we disagree the most on. So people can kind of keep track of that. I feel great about my Chase Brown hate so far.
I get a mulligan on Chase Brown.
I don't know about that.
If Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt, he produces. I am sure of it, and we'll never know.
Well, that's on you for betting on Joe Burrow not getting hurt. It was his every other year he gets out for the year, and this was his down year. So you should have known.
We should have known that his first full training camp of his entire career. We should have known he was going to get hurt.
He used up all his health in that training camp. And you know what else you should know is that Nico can't play a full season because he always gets injured. And he's only finished as a wide receiver one time out of 5 years. And I want players who actually play the game. I think Nico is a great talent. I think he's good, but I'm not taking him as a mid-second round startup pick. My main beef isn't that Nico is bad or that he isn't good. My beef is that he's always been overvalued. And he's only finished as a wide receiver 12 one time. He did miss 2 games that season.
That's overall, right? In points per game, he was the wide receiver 9 last year.
Yes. And I think he's overvalued. Like, I'm not taking him over Garrett Wilson. I'm not taking him over
Oh my
people. People were
God,
taking him over Puka in the startup this past year. I've never.
I personally wasn't doing that.
I've never
And
under. I'm gonna have to go through our startup logs because I want to see. I feel like you're the biggest pro Nico guy. I'm gonna see if you took him over Puka in any of those leagues.
I don't think I would have done that, but I might have done that. But I would take him over Garrett Wilson so easily. So easily. But that's fine. It's fine. We obviously don't have to agree. I personally disregard injury prone narratives most of the time. So many things can go into that, right? That can lead you to never wanting to have Saquon Barkley on your team, or never wanting to have Christian McCaffrey on your team, or going forward not wanting to have Joe Burrow. And that's just something that I want to take advantage of if injury proneness is baked into somebody's value. When it's like Jalen Waddle and he goes to the medical tent every game, that's one thing. But I'm not going to devalue, and I'm not saying that you're doing this.
But Nico does that every game.
Nico does not go to the medical tent every game, and that concussion on Monday night is a completely freak accident where he gets slammed onto the ground. And the hamstring, he hurts his hamstring on like a long touchdown last year.
But
I don't think that's
he's hurt his hamstring on every single year, and those are the kind of injuries where those aren't flukes; those are soft tissue issues that constantly will be a problem. That's just going to be him. He's going to have hamstring issues every year, and those injuries are just something that it's Christian Watson. Like, those injuries always pop up no matter what because they're just always going to be with him.
The difference is that when Christian Watson is healthy, he's not good. And Nico Collins puts up almost 18 points per game when he's good. Yeah. And I'm not going to, okay, then I won't draft Christian McCaffrey because he's going to tear his Achilles because he has calf issues. If McCaffrey looks like the best pick in fantasy football this year. But
McCaffrey hasn't dealt with those injuries for 5 years in a row consistently. I think there is more of an injury prone narrative with McCaffrey than Nico. Probably, but they're more major injuries that he gets over. The calf issue obviously feels like more of a degrading of the muscle, which is concerning. But he's also a bit older than Nico. Nico's young and has those degrading issues. So I don't think Nico's value is going to rise at this point. He's going to get hit with the age 27 tag, which usually is when wide receivers drop in value. I rarely see a wide receiver gain value once they hit 27 in Dynasty.
Unlikely, yeah.
And I think he's been at peak value for a year now. And I don't think there's any return on that. I don't think you can get any surplus return on Nico than what you pay for him at a mid-second startup.
So I think a good middle ground here is that if you like Tags, aren't a believer, then you should sell him right now. Because I don't think his value will increase. He is not producing right now. I mean, he's averaging 13 points a game.
I have a question. Yeah. Philosophically speaking, when you're building your dynasty teams, what are your priorities? Because I prioritize, and I think there's different ways you can play dynasty, and not one answers. Some people prioritize, I need to win now, I need to maximize points. I personally prioritize value gains. Mm-hmm. I want to build a snowball, and I want to push the snowball down the hill and watch it get bigger and bigger and bigger until it becomes an actual dynasty where I'm going to be competing for 3 to 5 years with a core of a roster and have assets built up on top. And Nico doesn't fit into my style of building a team because I see him. Yeah. I don't see how he can add to the snowball. I think you buy him at a price and he plateaus and then falls off. So
yeah, I think it's completely fair. And I think that, I've noticed this for sure, that you and I approach roster building and that kind of stuff and strategy very differently.
Which is why we love Dynasty.
And
because there's not a single, there's no, here's how you play the game. Everyone plays by the same adventure. Rules.
Exactly. And I am definitely on the side of, I want to score a lot of points. And I don't necessarily... Tags has had several teams that I am in leagues with him where he has maybe productive struggled or a version of that, trying to build up as much value as possible. And then after 2 years maybe of basement dwelling, he has a ton of value on his team. I personally don't often approach it that way. I sort of look for players that Nico, and this is what I was going to say with the, if you're not a believer, sell him right now. If you are a believer, I'm just going to hold him everywhere I have him. And then I do think that he will produce at a wide receiver one numbers in 2026 and potentially 2027. So that's an asset that I want to keep because I think that he is going to score more points than he is right now. And I can just hold him. He's not necessarily an asset that I want to be looking at market value with right now. But I think I'm very excited to talk all these sorts of strategy things way more in depth in the offseason when we can attribute like an entire episode to them.
Offseason's going to be so spicy.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But yeah, generally, I am trying to build value, but I'm the type of guy who didn't really draft Roma Dunze. I didn't really draft a lot of Egmika Egbuka. And those two situations in year one obviously turned out very differently. But I sort of look at how is this guy's value in this coming season going to change? And if I don't think that it can, like Nico Collins going into this year, I did not think it would go down as much as it has. And that's sort of, potentially I should have looked at the offensive line more and said, okay, he may not produce in this bad situation. But
and to clarify, I guess my how I view teams, I'm not just like, oh, this player has probably reached his top value, time to trade him off. I do like to see, like for Nico, if I had Nico, I'm actively trying to see if I can ship him off for a Pittman and a first. Give me, because Pittman this year is putting up the same numbers as Nico will. And if you can get a first on top, get an extra dart throw for extra value, those are the kind of moves I actively look for because you're going to get the same production and you're going to gain value on top. And that's kind of how you get that snowball rolling. And I just don't, if I'm in a startup for Dynasty, I view Nico as a mid third. And a lot of people are taking him. A lot of people took him as an early mid second. So having that round difference is a huge value difference,
especially at the top.
Yes, it's a huge difference in value. So it's, I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the year plays out. But I am concerned that Higgins and Knoll get their shit together and start being productive, and that cuts into his workload because he's been the only top dog in that offense for entire time he's been there. There's Tank Dell for a little bit, but
Stephon Diggs for a few weeks.
Yeah. So that's my only concern. But I just the player that, and subsequently, I'm also out on T. Higgins. I have 0 T. Higgins shares. I have 0 shares of. I have 1 share of Waddle. I don't like it. Those are just not the players I target or go for. I just avoid those players like the plague. And if they pop up or if they pop off, cool. But if not, I just don't want to deal with the risk of having hamstring injuries every other week and them being have the questionable tag every week that I have to make roster decisions about.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and guys, I promise, not every player that I have planted my flag on has done bad this year. I swear.
I don't know.
Okay,
man.
I have my Rashee Rice exposure is through the roof. Okay, my Rashee Rice exposure is through the roof. I promise.
Oh God, you've put the curse on him.
Please take me seriously. Nah, he's wide receiver 1.
He's
rest of season.
100%. He's going to be benched by next week if you keep propping him up. You got to keep those silent.
God. All right. Well, I think that that is all that we have for this episode.
I feel like every week we're like, you know what? Let's just do a quick one. Let's trim it down a little bit, and then we look up and it's
Hour
like,
20.
Here we go again.
Yeah. It's all right.
Anyways, if you're pro Nico or if you're anti Nico, leave a comment. Whose side are you on? Leave like the podcast.
Settle our argument. Hit the subscribe so you get that in your inbox there when we upload. Hit the like. It helps. I'm sure it helps with the algorithm. I don't understand how all that works, but that would be good.
Any engagement is good engagement.
Any engagement is good engagement. We'll be back next week. Thank you guys for listening.
Have a good one.